We are starting with our media briefing, the first media briefing of 2021. I would love to welcome you to this briefing. The purpose of today's briefing is all about to introduce the newly appointed since we all know that the that we previously have has left us to work for another institution. So the municipality has appointed the new to take over. And that is the main purpose of the briefing. For the benefit of the and the CFO, I will then introduce the media houses. But I will request that during the process of engaging with the addresses that are going to be done by the CFO and the each person will introduce herself, the name, and the media house that you're coming from. But for now, we'll just have to mention that these are the media houses that we have around Kokstad that we work very well with them. We have a print media who are publishing their papers in vernacular, mainly isiXhosa, the Pondo News, Iso News, Ikwezi, Iso, Izule Africa. We also have those that are printing in English, the Kokstad Advertiser, AG Post. Then we have the electronic media, but in this one I must really say that we really do not have a radio station, whether it's a community radio station, commercial, or that is able to cover the whole of Kokstad. So we have different community radios that are covering partly certain areas. So we are really looking into that area. So we are using the Voice of Matati. It's a community radio station that is situated in Matati. It covers some areas in Kokstad. We also have the Alpha Community Radio, which also some areas not covers others. And then we have a newly established radio, which is in Umzimkhulu, the Heri Gwala FM. It has not yet covered the Kokstad area, but they are looking into covering our area. Other than that, the media houses that are covering the whole of Kokstad will be the SABC, in terms of Umhlobo Wenene, Ukhozi, and the commercial radio station would be the East Coast Radio. So we normally look into what the message we want to disseminate and our targeted audience. Then we will then choose from those from time to time. I will then hand over to the CFO. I will hand over to the CFO to introduce the formally introduce the for us. And then after that, the will take the podium and share his vision with us. Then the questions of clarity will follow. Over to you, Sipho.
Thank you very much, Ms. Machoba. My name is Thando Mketsu, Chief Financial Officer for Greater Kokstad Municipality. Mine, it's not that long, it's very short and straight to the point, is to introduce the new municipal manager. As you all know that I've been acting as the municipal manager from the period when Mr. Mapoloba left Greater Kokstad up until Mr. Zwane joined Greater Kokstad on the 1st of February. Mr. Mapoloba, as you all know, that he left for what we will call greener pastures to the city of Umhlatuze, which is a bigger municipality than Greater Kokstad, which is part of growth on his part, which we had wished him well for his departure. He left without anything that would call maybe he is running away from it, which is wrongdoing. He left it, Greater Kokstad, in good hands with the management. So when Mr. Mapoloba left, the council started the process of recruitment, which was started from the 1st of November of 2020. But that process, all of it was concluded in 1.5 months by Greater Kokstad Municipality. But if you look at other institutions, it is very hard to conclude a process which is the same as the one that Greater Kokstad concluded in 1.5 months. So when the council set on the 22nd to appoint Mr. Zwane, there has been a lot of processes that we undergo before we got to that point, which on the 17th, Mr. Zwane was interviewed by the panel of Greater Kokstad, and that interview, as you all know, it was an open interview. What do I mean about that? Stakeholders were invited to be part of that process, which yourselves, those that were present, were there to observe and see the performance of the candidates that were interviewed. So in that process, Mr. Zwane has been the one that has been recommended for the position of a municipal manager in Greater Kokstad by the 22nd of December 2020, which processes after that followed in terms of him having to serve a notice to his previous employer, which that is why on the 1st of February we saw him here in Kokstad, starting as the municipal manager. Mr. Zwane, as a municipal manager, he possesses the following qualifications in terms of his academic qualifications: a master's degree in public administration from the University of KwaZulu-Natal, an advanced certificate in public development management, the same University of KwaZulu-Natal, a diploma in human resource management from the Mellon College, amongst other relevant qualifications. He's also a registered member of South African Association for Public Administrators and Management. He's got a vast experience in local government. He has been a leader, a manager in local government in a number of institutions, which I can mention: Amajuba District Municipality, Ilembe District, Denhauser, Newcastle, Ndwendwe, and Emadangeni. He's been also assisting in his career the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs in terms of assisting the municipalities that were not functional. He will then be required to go and assist in those institutions. So he's not new in local government. He's been around for quite some time. I'm sure when I started local government, he was already there. Because I started local government in 2005, which I think, Mr. Zwane, you were already there. So I think that's my introduction to you about our new municipal manager, which is Mr. Zwane. Thank you very much.
Thank you, CFO. Just to alert people that our media briefing is live on the page, the Informer page now.
Thank you very much, colleagues, especially to our media personnel. Ms. Demketu just disclosed my age. I feel embarrassed because with this mask, I look young. So, but it's fine, we'll talk when we get to the office. But thank you very much, colleague, for the introduction. Yes, I am Sipho Zwane, the new municipal manager of the Greater Kokstad Municipality, which the municipality that has just become my second home, because that's where I'll spend the better part of my life, which is my work. I had a very good conversation this morning with the colleague wanting to know more about our media, and let me confirm that you were well presented. One of the things that Umuntu studied briefly was public relations. That was many, many years ago. So I know the importance and the significance of the media, especially to the public sector, the government bodies such as ourselves. So I promise you, and I make a commitment that we won't be this municipality that will have a very bad or bad relationship with the media. Some of us understand the media, and we respect the role of the media as the Greater Kokstad Municipality. Secondly, I wish to publicly express my appreciation to Ms. Demketu, who acted or served as acting municipal manager following to the resignation or of the departure of Ms. Demapoloba from our municipality. And almost daily, Ms. Demketu, I received messages of goodwill from Ms. Demapoloba. We come a long way with Ms. Demapoloba. I know that if it happens that he hears me talking here and addressing him as my shop steward, he'll be angry with me. But that's how I refer to him as my shop steward. Colleagues, I would have liked to, of course, I'll get the opportunity to meet and greet each and every one of you because I believe in personal relationships. As much as I'll address you as media, as a collective, but I will appreciate having some form of a one-on-one meet and greet kind of an arrangement. But we'll get that. Of course, we'll respect the COVID-19 safety measures. The fact of the matter is, I am now part of the Greater Kokstad Municipality. I started on the 1st of February, that was on a Monday. I was warmly welcomed by a delegation that was led by His Worship the Mayor, Councillor Mtolo, one of the great sons that South Africa has ever produced in terms of leadership, which therefore makes me feel very happy that I will share space with him. I'll serve as municipal manager alongside or under him as my mayor. And I was part of the delegation. The welcoming party was also Deputy Mayor, Speaker, Chairperson of MPEC and other councillors, and also my colleagues with top management. And I can say without any fear of a contradiction that I was warmly welcomed in this municipality. That is why I call it my home. The question therefore will be, what are you bringing to the people of Kokstad? Now, I shared with the colleagues Monday, and I'm also saying it here. What I inherited, or I'm inheriting from Mr. Maploba, it's something that does not need to be fixed. Mr. Maploba left a very good legacy in this municipality. Together with the management team, I can tell you, colleagues or members of the media and the public, that this municipality and its people are in good hands. So this is the kind of legacy that I'm proud to have inherited from Mr. Maploba and his management team, a highly professional team of senior managers. Today I had a very successful and productive management committee meeting. I can't stop but to say, wow, this municipality, it's not a fluke that it is number 4 in the country in terms of performance, and also number 1 in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. I applaud the municipality for that. If I say the municipality, I refer here to both management and councillors. Of course, one cannot leave out or exclude in this appreciation members of the public who always keep this municipality on its toes for it to perform. That was just a comment on my side, but let me get to what I believe will inform my stay in our municipality, the Greater Kokstad Municipality. 1, we have conducted an analysis of our performance, or on the performance of the municipality on issues of provision of basic services. We are doing very well, but based on the outcome of the strategic planning session that was held in November last year, where as the municipality we took a position that we need to do more in terms of adding a flair of being effective and efficient in terms of the provision of services to our people. We are doing very well. There are issues here and there, but going forward, we've decided to take it upon ourselves as the management, working together with our councillors, to ensure that the implementation of projects, service delivery project, goes with a speed that has never been seen before. Effective immediately, we have adopted a position as a management that we want to ensure that the issue of potholes in our CBD is dealt with speedily. If you drive around, of course, you'll see potholes here and there. That does not paint us as good people in the eyes of the public, but together with top manco and our management, and also with the support of our councillors, we will work very hard to ensure that whenever we receive reports of the existence of any pothole, or if it happens that we see any pothole ourselves, through our infrastructure and technical services department, we'll make sure that we resolve these challenges relating to the potholes. We know that through the provision of basic services, infrastructure-related projects, there are a number of spin-offs. For an example, if you roll out capital projects, local people benefit, both in terms of entrepreneurial opportunities and also job opportunities for our communities. That is why we are referring to these as our developmental projects. So that is why we will put a lot of emphasis on that. 2, in as far as what we agreed to will do with the colleagues, with, of course, myself at the helm. You see, we have committees, council and council committees that play oversight over the administration and also executive in keeping with the legislation. Now, we do not want councillors to second guess the administration when it comes to issues of governance and service delivery. So we will work very hard. In fact, we've already started to initiate and implement measures that will assist us in terms of ensuring that councillors are able to keep track and monitor the implementation of the resolutions that they've adopted through their council and council committees. Now, we've put in place a system that will assist councillors and the municipality at large in terms of monitoring of implementation of council resolutions. So we have started with that. It will apply across ranging from council committees, EXCO, MPEC, and also at the level of e-management. That will also include us ensuring that we do not only keep track of implementation of our resolutions, but we want to see the impact of such resolutions on the lives of the people. Because at the end of the day, CFO, resolutions that won't have impact on the lives of the people are just nothing else but theory. So that is why we want to ensure that we keep track on the implementation of resolutions that council and council committees will have adopted. Thirdly, I've made mention of the fact that Mr. Mapoloba left a fully functional municipality. That is the Greater Kokstad Municipality. We made a commitment which is in line with what Mr. Mapoloba stood for in this municipality. That of being highly ethical as administration, highly ethical, professional. I can attest to the fact that that is what I found in this municipality. I wish you were flies on the wall to see or to have heard the discussions that were part of the management committee meeting that we had this morning. I'm very proud of being a member of such a team. We have to, it's a must that we become compassionate people. Remember, we are a public sector organization as a municipality. So serving our people, we must have love. We must have a good heart. We must understand where our people are coming from. So that at the end of the day, whatever we render or offer to our people in terms of service delivery, we should also feel that it has love and compassion in it as a municipality. Part of us being who and what we are as administration, we will ensure that, as always, we maintain and uphold the principle of accountability. You know that as KGM, we are for the people. That's what the Honorable Mayor and the leadership always say. So we are not doing what we are doing here for our own good, but we are doing it for the people of the Greater Kokstad Municipality. So the issue of accountability will be paramount. As accounting officer, I'll work tirelessly to ensure that each and every senior manager, each and every staff member in this municipality accounts for the actions that he or she takes. So that is also one of the principles, and also to be upright as the management. So the people of the Greater Kokstad Municipality should be proud when they talk about their municipality. Whenever they meet us on the streets, CFO and the colleagues, members of the media, they should be proud to have the kind of administration that is part of the Greater Kokstad. Fortunately, we'll be doing so because our leadership, that is the Honorable Mayor, Speaker, Deputy Mayor, EXCO, and councillors, are in themselves upright people. So as accounting officer, I also commit to that. When I was welcomed on Monday, Deputy Mayor, I made a commitment to the Speaker and councillors that if it happens that for whatever reason they find me with my hands on the till. That's what we say. They must find a way of getting rid of me. If it happens that they find me, CFO, with my hand in the cookie jar, meaning being involved in any act of corruption or fraud, I'm saying this also in the presence of the media, that they must find a way of getting rid of me. Because I uphold, together with my management, the values that I alluded to earlier. I also emphasized with the team that if there is an expectation that I'm here to fix anything, unfortunately I looked around, I'm only 2.5 days here, there is nothing that needs fixing here. You don't fix it if it's not broken. All what we'll be doing will be improving in terms of efficiency and being effective in dealing with the issues of service delivery and administration. This municipality prides itself for having received an unqualified audit opinion for over, is it 4 years, Sipho? More than 5 years. So I'm talking here about e-audit that is conducted by the Auditor General of South Africa, making a bold statement to say the affairs, the assets, and everything that has got to do with the people of Kokstad is in the right hands. One other thing that we've committed ourselves to as top manco, management of the Greater Kokstad Municipality, is that of us creating a healthy and a safe workplace for our employees. Remember, we rely on our human resource to achieve our service delivery objectives. So if you therefore fail to create an environment where our employees will feel at home and will feel appreciated, unfortunately, you will end up failing and not achieving the objectives of the municipality set out in the ITP. So the top of our agenda is to ensure that we sharpen the skills of our employees. We create a conducive environment that will enable them to also feel at home, and thereby ensuring that they assist the municipality in terms of advancing our service delivery initiatives, and of course to the benefit of our community. One other issue which is top of our list is that of taking advantage of the comparative and competitive advantages of the Greater Kokstad Municipality. I talk here about its strategic location. We share borders with the Eastern Cape and other areas, so therefore, if we fail to take advantage of that, I had a conversation with the colleague, the executive manager responsible for issues of economic development. We are going to be very strong, Deputy Mayor, in terms of ensuring that working with the local private business, we strengthen our relationships, we ensure that we retain them, we do all in our power and within the law and the legislation to retain them and to retain the current investment that they have made in our area. But coupled with that will be the issue of us being very strong in terms of attracting national and international investment. We've already started through the Office of the MM with the engagement of investment coordinators without excluding any zone in the world, but there are talks which we'll address you on at a later stage, but we will go full swing in terms of attracting new investment in the area. There are very, very good plans, CFO. I shared those with the top manco, and I hinted about them to leadership, but I can tell you, we will arrange, colleague, to have the same session where members of the media will be briefed about our economic investment drive. But we'll be very strong because at the end of the day, our intention is to expose our local community members to entrepreneurial opportunities. We want to see our local business people or aspirant business people playing the game at the level of being part of big business and also growing the SMME sector in our district. But we'll address the media in as far as that program is concerned once it is shared with members of the Executive Committee and also Council. Colleagues, it's a pity that Ms. Demketu nearly disclosed my age. The issue of youth development, women development, and the development of people who are living with disabilities is close to my heart. It's close to the heart of this municipality. The office that deals with these issues of the vulnerable sector or sectors of our community, is in the office. Fortunately, it is in the office of the municipal manager. Together with the colleagues, we will make sure that we interact with the organized, what called groupings, representing young people, representing women, and also representing people with disabilities, with a view to mainstream their issues. Developmental issues. We want to see them being part of the business of the municipality in terms of development. Gone are the days when we'll say women belong in the kitchen. We have women's, what do we call it, women's desk forum in the municipality. So we will work very hard to ensure that issues of youth development, women development, and the development of people with disabilities are brought to the fore, and tangible projects are developed in order to ensure that these vulnerable sectors of our society are also assisted in terms of development. I talk here about both socio-economic development because they have a role to play as important sectors in the growth of our country. We will do this, of course, working in tandem with our district, that is the Herikuala District Municipality, and national and sector departments, because together we will do more. We can't achieve as the Greater Kokstad Municipality standing on our own. Lastly, from my side, I've already indicated that we are part of the Herikuala District Municipality as the Greater Kokstad Municipality. This is our district. This is our beautiful district. We will continue working and maintaining the cordial relations with our district municipality. Fortunately, I know the municipal managers. They are very good friends of mine professionally. So very soon we will engage them now that I'm the municipal manager of the Greater Kokstad Municipality, and ensure that we strengthen and solidify our relations in keeping with the IGR framework and cooperative governance. As part of our reaching out or outreach program, we will work closely with the provincial, KZN provincial sector departments, all of them. We will work very hard to ensure that we establish and maintain good relations with the private sector, ratepayers association, and all other formations that have interest in our area and that have business to do with our municipality. So we'll stop at nothing in terms of ensuring that we strengthen those relationships. Our responsibility as Greater Kokstad Municipality is to listen to what the stakeholders are saying without being partisan and without being judgmental on issues that the stakeholders raise. Very soon, I had a discussion with the CFO, it was this morning CFO, where you briefed me about the local chamber of business and the ratepayers association. Those stakeholders make our municipality. So we need to remember, we rely on our ratepayers for revenue. So our relationship with them is very important, as it is the case with all other stakeholders. Through the office of the MM, we'll work very hard to strengthen the capacity of the ward development committees. Remember, the ward development committee is the most important unit in the structure of government that is closest to the people. So we have a dedicated office, a dedicated unit that deals with issues of dealing with or maintaining the capacity or developing the capacity of ward development committees. Colleagues, I've already indicated and expressed my commitment in working with you as the media. And before I sit down, I would like to say thank you to the people of the Greater Kokstad Municipality. Thank you to the people of Herigwala for giving me an opportunity to be part of them. And I commit myself in working with and working for you. I'll make sure that together with the management, we support our mayor, speaker, deputy mayor, and councillors in achieving that which is contained in our IDP in as far as service delivery is concerned. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you.
Thank you, MM. We are now coming to the questions. Coming to the question session of our media briefing. I will then give the opportunity to the colleagues. I will request that we indicate that by a show of hand, and once you are being acknowledged, you will then introduce yourself, the media house you are representing, and then you ask your question. Can I get hands? I'll start with Mr. Moshweshwe, and Pelele will follow.
I'm Moshweshwe. Who's also a service provider of this municipal in terms of collecting the municipal newsletter, but working for the newspaper and newsletter. So everything has been said, Mr. MM, in terms of the challenges that are facing the town. You've just elaborated a lot. But one general question is the question that what made you to have this interest to leave the bigger municipality that comprises of bigger cities like Newcastle, Amatu, Den Haag, and other municipalities to come work here? Because you said for yourself that you're here to maintain the legacy of the municipality that is doing well. One would assume, one would think that it is on price coming here to relax.
Stalel?
Good afternoon, everyone. Stalel Ngeta from East Colon Post newspaper. I just want to find out from the new MM that in terms of the administration in the municipality, can you expect changes or the swapping of staff or the management maybe? Because at some point it's normal, like when someone is new in the office, we'll like see him making some changes. So I just want to find out from that. And also, we are still under this cloud of COVID-19, as well as like Kokstad was one of the hotspots recently. So I just want to find out from you that what is on your mind in terms of addressing that, since you are coming into this area. Thank you.
Do you have any other hand? Yes.
Good afternoon to everyone. Lutando Masatala from Bongoni FM. I would like to know from Mr. MM that what are the precautions, maybe options that he will do, because in his speech he told us that he's going to be working close with youth development skills. So what are your main aims or objectives for youth as a Kokstad?
Thank you. Thank you. Any other hand before I put Andile? Any other hand after put Andile? Before I give to the MM to respond, you will follow Sonic.
All right, thank you, Sisi. You coming here during this time of COVID-19, and COVID-19 has destabilized many programs. You can say from national, provincial to this local government level. What are the programs that you think have been disturbed by this COVID-19 here locally, and what are you going to do about them? And when I came here in town, I just talked to people around here. One of the issues is what you mentioned, potholes. Do you think this is one of the issues, the big issues in this town, and something that you want to deal with it as quick as possible?
Over to you, Sonika.
Afternoon, everyone. I'm Sonika Zwane. I'm a Kokstad advertiser. I just want to ask the new MM, the previous MM, Mr. Babalova, was very involved, and he encouraged direct communication from the community, and so far that he actually gave his cell phone number and email addresses out and encouraged people to contact him directly. Would you like to follow this line of communication, or would you prefer a different way for the community to address you? Thank you.
There's a hand from Ikwezi.
Greetings everyone, this is Yasanda from Equals Publishers. My question, as you have mentioned that Kokstad is situated between the borders of Eastern Cape and KZN, I would also say slightly Lesotho. What are your plans? What are the plans that you have for people that they are coming flooding in Kokstad? Most of them, they come for work and they end up staying and being the residents of Kokstad. Is there any land? Remember a few years back, people, they took land in Marikana, and people, they're still coming in numbers in Kokstad. Is there anything that, as the municipality or as the government, as you came already knowing that if this is the border, and it's more like a gold mine for our locals, and it's more like that's where people, they go for when they need work? Is there anything planned for the expansion of Kokstad? Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. I will then allow the MM, but MM, you can use the mics in front of you.
Okay. Thank you very much, colleagues. CFO, he is still at work, so there will be questions that I'll refer to him. Unfortunately, that is part of being accounting officer. Yeah, thanks. I can know. Let me, thanks, Andile, for himself. I looked at of course, you introduced yourself as a person who's wearing two caps. I looked at the newsletter of the municipality. She can show you my WhatsApp. Said, who's developing this? Very good concept. Very good concept. So yeah, I like the text, the format of the newspaper. I know I troubled her before I came to the municipality. Please share with me the newspaper. Secondly, you see, as professionals, there are a number of things that attract us to certain organizations or workplaces. I've been part of a number of initiatives, being moved from one municipality to the other. As part of it, the Kokstad support team, etc. There is nothing that I enjoy like working for a local municipality. Remember, district municipality deals with, in the main, issues of water, which is very good because you provide service that sustains life. I've been exposed to local municipalities, and I always longed for a day when I'll work for a municipality. Now, when this opportunity presented itself, I said, this is the opportunity. Fortunately, for the reasons known to the panel that interviewed me, then I ended up landing here. But if I may share with you as the reason why I enjoy working for a municipality, you find yourself being in a position where you interact and interface closely with local communities. Local municipalities, if I may also hint on the question that was raised by Hassan, you talk real development, you provide housing, you deal with roads, you deal with landfill sites, you deal with real issues that touch people. But I also appreciate the role that is played by the colleagues who serve at the district municipal level, especially when it comes to them providing water services such as water and sanitation. So I believe that I'll make the best while here. If I may respond to the question that was raised by Uspelele, remember I said, if it is not broken, don't fix it. I showered my management team with words of appreciation. I'll be very sad if any one of them could leave this municipality now. In fact, one of my responsibilities, one of my priorities is to ensure that I plead with the colleagues not to leave this municipality. Just as in my case, their work is guaranteed. CFO will remain our CFO. Remember, the CFO, just like all other senior managers, they are appointed by council, of course in consultation with the municipal manager in keeping with the legislation. So there is no intention on my part to fix something that is not broken. The colleague who served as the PA to the municipal manager is my PA. Colleagues who serve in my office, the very good friend of mine here, they will continue serving. I'll tell you why. This is the team that made and continues to make it Greater Kokstad to be what it is. So if you interfere with that, then you'll find yourself in trouble. In fact, my responsibility is to ensure that they become more motivated, happy. Hence, we spoke about the issue of the creation of a conducive environment that will enable them to do more than what they've been doing and what they are doing. Yesterday, we had a very good meeting of our top manco. I'm taken aback by what I saw in the persons of my colleagues, executive managers. We have a very good balance in terms of gender. You know, you sit and count and say, no, but this is rare. We have a 50-50 spread in terms of males and females, and I think I'm in a good space in as far as there won't be any change, my brother. Instead, in case there is a vacant post, in fact, I was addressed about those this morning, we will continue to attract highly skilled people in order to augment and build more capacity in our municipality. Where there are areas where we believe there are gaps, we'll step in and ensure that we train our people going forward. The issue of COVID-19, colleagues, this is a pandemic. This is everybody's business. It's something that knows no boundaries, it knows no color. It has nothing to do with your social standing or stature party, but we will continue being part of the initiatives that are championed by government and work closely with our colleagues in the district, Herikwana district, in terms of us being part of the district development model structures and also the district coronavirus or COVID-19 council. We'll also, in fact, we are doing that. I mean, you'll have noticed that we are very conscious of the upholding of the precautionary measures. The first thing that the municipality did when I arrived here, they gave me a bag with a sanitizer, a small bar of soap, and 3 masks. I had mine, which looked like the CFO's, but I like this one. You see. So that was an indication on the part of the municipality that when it comes to issues of saving lives, protecting our people from COVID-19, we are very strong in that. If you go to our offices, you'll find sanitizers throughout the offices, inside and outside and in the corridors, because we want to ensure that we save humanity. And we always communicate messages that are aimed at sensitizing and conscientizing our people in as far as the COVID-19 is concerned. But we will continue to be part. I'm told that today there is a gathering or a meeting which is also aimed at advancing issues that have something to do with COVID-19. Now, Ulutanda from Bongweni FM, the issues of youth. I've received a briefing from the colleagues insofar as what we are currently doing in terms of advancing the development of young people. But remember, almost 50 or more % of the population of this country is young people. That also goes with women. I don't know if you can count here, the numbers tell. Wherever you are, whether you're at the shopping center or wherever, women will be in the majority, young people will be in the majority. So each and every program or projects that will roll out as a municipality will ensure that there is a strong element of a benefit in whatever form of young people and women, and also people with disability. It may not be at the level of entrepreneurship or being people who benefit as entrepreneurs or whatever, if that's the right way to call them, but in terms of job creation and also in terms of developing their skills so that in the future, in near future, they also participate in the economy. Because if we don't start with the development of young people and women now, very soon some of us will be on the second floor. We'll leave young people with no skills and will be contributing towards poverty that we so detest. CFO, I will skip the question that deals with the effects of COVID-19 to our projects. I will request that you deal with that yourself. Now, potholes, my number one enemy. You see, driving into Kokstad, you have this nice terrain, beautiful landscapes, nice mountains and hills, clean area, friendly people. Now, we want to remove this eyesore called a pothole from this beauty. We want to create the kind of roads and streets that when people who drive through our area do so, they feel good. That's Kokstad. I spoke to both the CFO and the colleague, Mr. Dondo. Mr. Dondo submitted a report, a plan to me today, CFO, detailing or showing as to how they will immediately deal with the issue of the resolution of this pothole thing. So I looked at the plan and I'm happy with it. And I can tell you, I'm one person who does not like to see such an eyesore. Issue of former potholes should be a thing of the past in the municipality. Fortunately, we have a capable team internally. It's just a matter of ensuring that that team is properly motivated and properly maintained, managed, so for them to perform. Watch the space, will develop, will deal with the issue of potholes in our area. So, but it won't be an overnight thing. Now that the MM spoke about it, then tomorrow you'll wake up and find that there's no pothole in Kokstad. But I promise and I commit on behalf of myself and the top manco that we will work very hard to ensure that you yourselves will be able to see progress in terms of the resolution of the challenges potholes in our area. If you are, Sonika, if you are an accounting officer, if we were at the province or national level, we have said we are public servants. Of course, we are public servants. The municipality subsidizes my airtime. I'm a public figure. So there is no secret about my number. There is no secret about my email address. There is nothing wrong in the media or members of the public calling me whilst I'm watching, I nearly disclosed my team, watching my soccer on Saturdays and Sunday. Okay. Andy, they are being naughty. So I nearly disclosed my soccer team, but it's fine, the CFO knows it. So my number, it's a public number. So I'm reachable, contactable anytime. If it happens, as we're sitting here now, my phone is on silent. If you don't go get through, please bear with me, leave a message, I'll return your call. So in short, I'm available. But of course, bearing in mind that we are now in the COVID-19 situation, it's well and good for us to have one-on-one sessions, etc. But we always avoid having meetings where we have more people. Of course, we know what COVID does. Asanda, there is one thing that we can't avoid, my sister, or run away from. We share borders with the Ilona Eastern Cape and also with Lesotho. We are part of KZN. We share borders with other municipalities. So there is, whether we like it or not, we can't say tomorrow wake up and choose not to be where we are. So in developing our programs as the Greater Kokstad Municipality, we must find it in our hearts to respond to those needs. A person who is from Pietermaritzburg or elsewhere, we can't deny him the right to come and enjoy a life in the Greater Kokstad Municipality. All what we need to do, we need to be smart in terms of saying, what is it that is attracting people to our area? If with information at our disposal indicates and confirms that people are running away from their areas because of job opportunities and lack thereof, and they believe that they can survive in our municipality. In fact, that should spur us on in terms of creating more job opportunities, growing the cake in this area, so that when they come, good for us. So our hands are wide open, but through intergovernmental relations, we need to reach out to the areas where our people come from, so that we'll also assist them in terms of them being able to grow their areas, so that people should not be forced to leave their localities. We will welcome those who come to our areas, but as South Africans, we have a responsibility to help other areas to grow, as much as they also help us in terms of growing our economy. Yeah, thank you very much for the questions, colleagues. CFO, sorry to shift the difficult one to you.
No, thanks. I think in terms of the question that asked whether what programs were destabilized by the existence of the pandemic, yes, there was delays in terms of implementation of the projects, as we all know that before the government changed to risk-adjusted levels in terms of the pandemic levels, we completely shut down in March last year, from March to 27th April, I think up to July. So those periods, there were projects that were supposed to have been completed in the previous financial year, which because of that lockdown, and then it delayed its implementation. And then we have to come in 2020-2021 financial year and still continue with those projects. So yes, there was a destabilization in terms of completion dates of the projects that the council have set for the previous financial year and also for the current financial year. Because even when we came back, there were still restrictions in terms of which sector to come back and implement projects. For instance, electrical was one of those that were allowed to come and work without any restrictions. But also, it had also had an impact in terms of expenditure. Those projects that, for instance, are funded through grants, there has been a delay in terms of expenditure in those grants. However, there was a plan that we had put in place which then accelerated the expenditure in those grants. As we closed the last financial year, for instance, with regards to the infrastructure management grant in terms of MIG, it was 100% spent. So there was no funding that was rolled over by the government. Also, as the delay comes now from the previous financial year, it also affects projects of this financial year, for instance, and those projects are in implementation, and the only thing that we had to do now was to extend its completion dates, which are still within the financial year. So that's the only destabilization that I can raise with regards to the COVID-19 destabilization.
Okay. Thank you, Sipho.
Thank you so much, colleagues. I will allow the last round of questions if we do have, because I have noticed that we have people that did not ask. Maybe they would have something to ask now. And also acknowledge the presence of Executive Manager, EDSP, Umamvezi, she's amongst us. The Deputy Mayor is in and out, but she also was part of us. I'm sure she'll be coming back soon. If we do have any further questions, I will give that opportunity as our last round of questions. I will give to Iso News. Any other hand before you can shoot so that we ask together and then we get responses, then we close. It's a follow-up. Okay, Iso, I'll give it to you. Can you introduce yourself, your name?
Sorry, how are you going to make sure that not the local media we are benefiting equally in terms of the advertisement?
Do you have any question, Mr. Mshosha? Okay.
So, Mr. Manager, you're assuming
Can you switch on the mic?
you're assuming a hot political seat where I didn't hear you saying much about how you're going to deal with matters of politics and administration. We know for the fact that in many instances, municipalities countrywide, they get threatened with those kinds of challenges, politics, and where they find that they're unable to differentiate politics and administrative matters. So how are we going to ensure that Kokstad remains stable in that something like that?
Okay. Any other hand, or we are closing the I will give to the MM to respond and then
The question that talks to issue of his support, let me call it a support, colleague, to local media. In fact, I do not want to play smart here and say I know what is going on in as far as that is concerned. But at the level of principle, we have the responsibility to grow our local media safe. We have that responsibility. You have local media in Pietermaritzburg and in big cities, and they survive based on the support that they receive, both from public and private sector of their localities. So I believe we have an obligation that we cannot run away from as the municipality, of ensuring that from little resources that we have, you are also exposed to benefit. Because you provide service that no one else can provide, of reaching out, helping us in terms of reaching out to our communities. As we're sitting here, I'm not Google community, but through you, I'm able to talk to Umpawat. So I promise, colleague, when we meet again, we'll be able to indicate. Remember, one day said, no, it's not a private. No, we need to deal with media professionally. Respect your space. Tomorrow, if you write a story about MM being suspected of corruption, you should not say, I won't write about that because he gave us e-advert. MM personally won't give you advert. MM personally, we won't give you advert. It is the municipality that gives you advert. So it can't be because it's a give and take. There's no give and take here. We have a responsibility to that as a municipality. Equally, you have a responsibility of being the mouthpiece of the people. So, but I commit with at the level of principle. I'll talk to the colleagues to say, how far do we go in terms of ensuring that our local media, you see, big media houses, the colleague will attest to this. If you follow and keep track of where do big media houses get their journalists or staff members from, they poach you. They just wait for you to develop, and you hear so and so is now working for this big station. And who developed those colleagues when they were young? Abazalba, where they come from. In this case, your municipality. And we will arrange, CFO, to have over a cup of tea sessions with yourselves. Not the intention of but just to talk about our relations. You see. But I'm happy that we have a very good relationship with yourselves currently. Andy Lemboyd, you see, CFO will agree with me. Once you assume a responsibility or take a responsibility of being accounting officer or executive manager, Umamvezi will also know, you are swimming with the sharks. It's not only the issue of a dichotomy between councillors and officials. We're talking here about interests. Different people will have different interests. At times, there'll be instances where community members will raise issues, community stakeholders will raise issues. But as a professional, you must take it by the chin and say, they are talking to their government, they are not talking to Sipho. So if you personalize issues, you'll lose the plot. So if His Worship the Mayor, Deputy Mayor and others come to management and raise service delivery issues, do not look at how they're raising those issues and say they're full of a temper, they hate me. Listen to what they're saying and deal with that issue. If a member who's part of a community member, who's part of a ratepayers association, takes up issues with me and questioning me about issues of our potholes, immediately I start saying, but these people hate me. Then they're being personal. Play the ball, not the man. Now, you must also understand that councillors, by their very nature, they have pressures coming from the community. These are leaders. You must respect their space. Whenever they have discussions, political discussions and debates, respect that. These are politicians, by the way. But what I've picked up in this municipality, since I came here on Monday, it's very difficult to see party political differences between our councillors. Yes, the mayor emphasized that, but they all speak in one word. So you work well in that kind of environment. But as a senior management, we have a responsibility of supporting leadership, advising them, counseling them, and ensuring that at the end of the day, you live up to what they appointed or employed you to do here. which is to assist in terms of giving service delivery and the planning thereof. Yeah. But politicians are politicians. Fortunately, in this municipality, I've been part of the local government for some time now. From a distance, I knew how Greater Kokstad functions. This municipality is a well-run municipality, and I'm proud of being part of this family. Thank you very much, colleagues.
Thank you, colleagues. I think we have come to the end of our session, but in closing, I would really love to appreciate and thank you for coming. And I also promise Sonika that nothing has changed. The MM is available. Those interviews that you guys normally come and request whenever there's a pressing issues that need the attention of the leadership, we're still going to be continuing and using the very same strategy. And lastly, to welcome the Bongweni FM. MM is very new. They are operating online, and this is their very first media briefing that they are attending. In those words, thank you, and the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you very much, Chris.